right, welcome to From the North podcast, the Masonic podcast, the place of darkness. This week, it is me, Jason Lee, Junior Deacon of Harmony 21.
And myself, Gary Roberts, the official dog at the door at Harmony 21.
You find a different way to say your position every single time. And this week, AC is not able to join us this week, and so we are here with our good friend, Kurt Payne, who is our Junior Warden at Harmony 21. Kurt, how are you?
Good, and I'm nobody special.
Okay. Kurt is Junior Warden. You were secretary last year, and you're Junior Warden this year. Were you secretary for 2 years or 1 year?
Just 1 year.
Oh, okay. Almost 2 years. You almost got
possible for almost 2 years. Yes.
Tried to elect him in as Junior Warden and secretary.
Matt would sure love that. This year I might be able to do it.
Oh man. Yeah. So thank you, Kurt, for coming with us today. Again, we have a few things that we'll probably talk about, but a few topics that we, I don't know, kind of have prepared. But if not, like whatever, this will just be pretty chill. I kind of wanted Kurt just to kind of start out, just to give a little background of like what you do, like what your job is, like your career, how long you've been in Freemasonry, why did you get into Freemasonry, that kind of thing. Would you want to start with like that? Like, what do you do for a living?
So me, officially, my job, I do as little as possible.
Doesn't surprise me.
What that means is I work on computers. When somebody is really good at computers, you don't notice them doing much.
That's fair.
Freemasonry, I've been interested for quite some time. In fact, I probably never noticed that there was anything other than, there's Freemasonry. And now I see all of these other clubs and fraternities and stuff like that, but I didn't see any others before. I would say when I moved down here 20 plus years ago, and I was interested then. I kind of checked out the lodge a little bit, came in, a couple of times. I had some other responsibilities with Boy Scouts that I did, and just didn't have a lot of time at that time to actually devote toward Masonry, and didn't really understand a whole lot.
Sure.
What got you to pull the trigger, though?
Funny to say, I joined the Facebook group, which Scotty had started. And, he just had, hey, Taco Tuesday. I was thinking, I'm good for tacos. I'll go out and buy from a taco truck, and we'll see what... No, it wasn't a taco truck. It was Brothers Made Tacos. Philip Allen had some fish to be able to make fish tacos, which is amazing.
So you came down for Taco Tuesday?
I came down for Taco Tuesday, and basically every month they had something, so I just came. Kind of got introduced to a few of the brothers, conversationally, had a lot of conversations with a brother crime fighter. There was a lot that clicked with that for me, and, to find out how, I guess, each of the people here, it's kind of learning each of their personalities, and it's like, you feel coming from the outside, or at least I did, I felt like, oh wow, this is really hard, all these guys are really tough, and they've just got this persona, but I didn't find it that way when I actually got to meet them, and actually was genuine with them. It wasn't.
I felt similar when I started. I was kind of under the same impression that it was going to be like a bunch of guys with like huge ambition and just I don't even know, to be honest, what I was 100% expecting. But yeah, I agree with you. Like that, it was a similar story for me. Like it was that game night or something, right? Like that social kind of situation that kind of got me going. Like I get the tacos kind of started getting you going there, but like what happened next, I guess?
Honestly, I was thinking, it's like, okay, how you have to know a Mason for 6 months, that's going to be kind of tough, so it's like, let's get to know somebody. Well, I'd already met and had pretty good conversations with Leroy, with RD, and I was hoping that when I came, Tim Fellows would be here, and I was going to ask him to sign my petition. while he wasn't here. I asked Leroy, and he's like, yeah, sure. Who's going to be your other guy? I asked RD. And to me, those guys are, really the solid guys in the lodge. They've been here. They always do things. They super knowledgeable. I respect, I guess, those older guys. I didn't meet a whole lot of the other guys. I know it, George, and come to find out, say 10 years earlier, George actually gave me a list of the Masons. And I looked through that list several times, like, okay, let's see if I can find. Yeah, which that's probably not something a secretary would normally do, but yeah, he did. But of course, George is one of these guys that's New York nice, so he's a nice guy. It's just he kind of has the New York.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and yeah, he is really an awesome Mason. And in my other lodge in Amity, he's a totally different guy.
Yeah, I forgot you're in 2 lodges.
I was going to say that's allowed in Utah's jurisdiction, is you can be a member of multiple lodges as long as you're in good standing in all of them.
Yeah.
What's your position in your other lodge?
I am senior deacon.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then he also holds a.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He also holds a district position.
That's right. I guess I'm the lowly lodge lecturer.
Has been appointed by the Grand Lecturer.
Yeah.
Or through the Grand Lecturer.
Well, it's kind of an appointment through the master, but yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been?
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah. So I stepped on your toes there. I beat you to the question.
No, you fairly win.
Good. We've now had our NPR moment.
2016 is when I started doing stuff. 2017 February is when I was initiated. Passed in around June. But in that, then I got proficient and got to where it's like, okay, I need to get a degree, and tried to work with the sitting master, and we finally got something scheduled with the Grand Master class. I would have preferred to do, the degree, but it was also, hey, this is long enough that I just need to get it done.
Yeah.
So
that was all the same year then?
Let's see. Yeah, and then October, which basically I busted my butt to get proficiency.
By November.
Yeah, by November.
By November meeting. Kind of a very similar thing that you did, Jason. And they elected him secretary that same night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a humbling, overwhelming experience.
Yeah, but to me, that I've known Kurt for a long time. Brother Payne, I should say. For a long time. We've known each other for 20 plus years. To me, that showed a lot of respect from the other brothers of the lodge. They had to think a lot of Kurt and a lot of his skills to put him in a position of responsibility like that. Because to me, the secretary is sometimes is just as busy, if not more busy, than the worshipful master when it comes to helping the lodge run.
Well, a lot of people would say the secretary is the hidden hand of the lodge.
Right.
That basically secretary runs the lodge. It's the master who has the recognition.
But I got to see Brother Payne act as secretary, and he did some things that secretaries haven't done here in the past before.
Yeah, I remember I got you gave me I don't know if a certificate's the right word, but a formal kind of piece of certificate. I'm going to go with certificate. A formal certificate saying that I had been accepted as to go through the degrees as a Mason, right? That was really cool. And you dropped it off at my work, and it was very personalized and very felt like I'm part of something, and I'm in a fraternity, not just sure, come by, we'll get you what you got to do. You know what I mean? It felt much more meaningful that way. And I hope we continue to do that because I like that.
And that was an experience that I remember quite a bit, because I remember I had submitted my petition, and you were one of the ones that signed it.
Yes.
You've known me for a long time.
You signed mine too.
And
Forgot about that. Yeah.
I was sitting there like, after I knew that they had the meeting where they vote on the candidates, if you will, because I'd already gone through the interview process and stuff like that, and I had figured that they had responded or taken care of my petition that night, and I was in a funky position because I knew enough about masonry to know that I should be humble and not go begging to see what they had decided, because I was nervous about it, because you don't always, they can say no, and rightfully so. Now that I've been in masonry and even know more of the reason why, I was fretting on it. I was freaking out and stuff like that, and I was like, maybe I'll just go ask Kurt. Maybe. And one morning I walked into my office and they're sitting on my keyboard. Was that awesome? I mean, it looks almost like, it was of sufficient quality that it looked like the paperwork you get when you get your degree from college.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
It was awesome. It's the same size, and it had the really fancy printing and stuff like that, and
little stampy thing, the embossing thing.
Yeah, it had the lodge's stamp in it, and it was super cool. Sitting on my desk saying, "Hey, you've been granted the right to go through the degrees now at Harmony Lodge," and to me that just made it that much more special. Yeah. So it's something I appreciated that you did a lot. That's the little things like that the brothers do for each other that got me excited about masonry, and I think that helped hook me in. So I appreciate you doing that. That's and cool. You and I have had conversations about that before. So,
well, it's like absolutely. You said, it's all in the details, right? Like you're talking about this to me quite a while ago, actually. It's all about those details. Like you've also done things where like you'd send. Oh, what was it? You would send something to visiting brothers.
A certificate of visitation.
Yes, yeah. It's those little details, right, that like change a lodge from just a bunch of dudes doing to like actual brothers, like respecting each other and like treating each other as masons. Like it's the details that matter. So yeah, I really appreciated that too.
I kind of found that all pretty much by accident. And okay. I'm going to say I just kind of fell into it because it's like, okay, guys, you're now the secretary. Here's the software. Here's it's like, okay, what do I do? Yeah. And part of the software, which at the time was called Rolls, it's no longer even a produced or supported product, but we used it. It had some generic forms in it. In fact, the Grand Lodge Code has all the forms in it, which are basic. They're just not... I basically just took the wording of that form and modified it just a little bit to personalize it. And then put it into, hey, let's make this look good. Just use standard Word. And but maybe the reason I kind of found it is... we had these certificates of good standing and I'd sent to the brothers. It's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to send them. Dues card, this. So I sent them the dues card. I sent them the certificate of good standing. And then it's like, oh, you're supposed to use a foil seal on here. So I go get the foil seals and I use the lodge seal, and it's official. Yeah. It was kind of an eye-opening thing when RD Cannon, which is a very respected past master in our lodge, he basically said, wow, I've never received anything like this ever. I'm going to frame this and put it on my wall.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I just thought, that looks terrible. That was my thought. Is like, that looks terrible.
That's so normal. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, I looked at it and I said, that looks terrible. And then, so I actually took that idea and I encompassed it into, Gary was probably one of the first that actually got this welcome to Freemasonry. That you actually got something. It's like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. I hand-delivered yours. I felt like it was...
Yeah, it was fun.
And then I actually put that in even further so that it's like, okay, like this last year, I don't know if Matt sent those out or not, but basically I printed them out and And it's like some of that personal recognition, the extra care you actually put into it, that's where I found out, hey, you know what? That's actually one of the big parts of masonry.
Totally.
It's not just, what's this really secretive thing? It's like, no. It's actually being cool with each other and actually making it meaningful and not just, oh, here's your award, feel good about it. It's like having that true, yes, you have accomplished something, and you, because you're in masonry, are something.
Yeah.
That was cool to me.
Well, we've talked about the need for people to feel needed.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not in in an officer's position, or you're not, there are quite a few positions in lodge in which somebody can help out with, but there are also, there's only 12?
Yeah, something like that.
It's about 15.
12 or 15 spots.
Yeah.
And if your lodge is like ours, what is ours about? If all of them came, we'd have about 40 members?
If we had all of our members, even out of state come, I think it's about 40 to 50.
Yeah. There's not something for all of them to do.
At least in terms of an official,
as an official title. But everybody has that, and we talked about this in the previous episode, that people need to feel needed.
Yeah.
And in a lodge, there are many opportunities to feel needed, and not have an official title. And I think Kurt's efforts to send out those certificates let them know that they were something special and that they were needed in some way.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I, even throughout all of that, where I was secretary, I tried to call and get addresses and stuff like this of brothers, and I even had a few of them. It's like, oh, well, I forgot about, the dues or something like that. And it's like, I was cool with them. I didn't.
Sure.
It's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But part of it was we just hadn't been sending notices, and they just haven't felt that connection back into lodge. I think one of the things that we've done lately, when the start of this COVID thing, is these web meetings. I would love to see that continue. Maybe not on the same night as our meeting night, especially when we open.
But to still have, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be nice to be able to say, you know what, on off weeks, we're going to have this get together.
Yeah, we've seen some brothers in there that I've never met before, but they're able to come. They're able to do something like that remotely.
Yeah, Brother Harris, Randall Harris, he actually lives here in town, works in Salt Lake, just doesn't make his schedule to be able to come.
Sure.
Brother Cleveland Karen, he actually lives out of state. But I've seen him a couple times that way. We had Brother Brady, which was a brother that gone NPD. He'd actually got reinstated, and now I've seen him a couple times in meetings like that. So it's like, wow.
Well, there's also been some opportunities, I think, for new people to come see masonry operate in an unofficial capacity. It's less daunting to pop into an online meeting like that, not turn on your mic, not turn on your camera, but get a feel of the group that you're connected with.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually been more people investigating Freemasonry pop into those things and just kind of ask some questions or sit in the background. One of those then have come to visit and have dinner with us the night before lodge.
How are they getting access to that? Like is it just posted somewhere?
No, I think a lot of it's coming through our lodge treasurer and our lodge secretary, and through and Brother Payne as well. They're reaching out, calling our lodge's phone number, emailing. Those guys have access.
So we have,
just come join us.
We have
Here's
a
the
Google
link.
Voice phone number for the lodge. I've got access to it. Anybody's got a password, get in and hook it onto their phone. So there's people that text and say, hey, or call, leave a message. We just text them back and say, hey,
I see.
Either that, or we have a So I've taken the Facebook group and just made it Masons only.
Yeah.
And then I made a Facebook user called Harmony
21 or something.
Yeah, Harmony Lodge 21 or something like that. But it's but anybody can follow. You can try to friend and stuff like that. A few conditions on that, but it's pretty open and
Sure.
Anybody can post on there.
All right. Well, I think that is probably a pretty good place to stop for today. This has just been a little introduction to Kurt Payne, our Junior Warden. I just wanted to thank him as well as Gary Roberts for joining us today. And yeah, this has been a Masonic podcast from the North, a place of darkness. Thank you so much for listening. We hope to see you next time.
The host of the From the North podcast are providing this broadcast as a public service and for their own selfish motives. It is neither a legal interpretation nor a statement of any Grand Lodge, local lodge, or any Masonic body, or Freemasonry in general. Any reference to any specific product, subject, or entity does not constitute an endorsement or a recommendation. The rantings, tomfoolery, and views expressed by the guests and the hosts are their own, and their appearance on the program does not apply any endorsement of them, any Grand or local lodge, or any entity they represent.